Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a very special guest. This is not only my best friend, but this is my dermatologist, Dr. Nina Desai.
Hi.
And today we are going to be talking all about skincare, particularly for when you're pregnant, because I'm expecting my third baby.
Yes.
Nina has 3 children herself. So I get asked all the time about like what products I should be using while pregnant. Is there something that you should be changing drastically in your routine? And for me, I thought what would be really cool is I will go over what I use and you can tell me if you think that this is good, why not.
Perfect.
And then if there's anything added, then we can just go from there.
Sounds great. I can't wait.
To begin, can we go over just like a basic general rule of thumb as far as what we should be doing AM, and then we'll do PM as well.
So for your basics of your morning routine, you do want to do like a gentle light cleanser, because if you're doing all your work at night, then you don't really have too much oil or dirt on your face in the morning, so you can stick to a very light, gentle cleanse in the morning. And then you do want to do active ingredients like vitamin C in the morning, antioxidants, things that are going to protect you throughout the day. Moisturize in the morning if you need to, especially during pregnancy when your skin's going to start to get a little bit more sensitive, perhaps a little bit more dry. And then the most important thing is obviously sunscreen. Protect yourself from the sun. So those are the basics of your morning routine.
I'm hoping that I, make you proud, Nina.
I'm sure you will.
I like to keep it really simple, especially during pregnancy. I feel like there's so much other things like I already have to think about with vitamins and this and that. So I'm keeping my AM routine to 5 products primarily.
Perfect.
Okay, so I know that a cleanser is really important. This is what I've been using as of late. It is the Neutrogena Hydroboost Hydrating Cleansing Gel. And I really like this because it has hyaluronic acid in it, which I've learned from Nina, that is a great way to really help retain moisture. And like she was saying that, especially during pregnancy, my skin is extra parched. So this is just a way to cleanse, but also hydrate.
So this is a really nice, light, gentle cleanser. So you're not going to be irritating your skin. You're not going to be stripping your skin. And with the hyaluronic acid, what you're actually doing is you're allowing your body to retain some of that water, some of that moisture. So it's actually helping to keep the skin hydrated.
There's something I want to ask you too, because I think a lot of times women are asking like, what kind of cleanser should I use? And I learned this from you a long time ago, which is cleansers are the one area that you can really, it doesn't have to be super high end. As long as it's gentle and mild and getting the dirt and oil off of your face, but without stripping your skin.
Exactly.
So is there this is a gel cleanser, which I think I have definitely kind of been more attracted to as I age. But I think in my 20s I would use foaming cleansers, but now I find them to be something very harsh and abrasive.
I do recommend that we stick to more of the light, gentle cleansers, the gel-based cleansers, the more, water-based cleansers, and avoid those foaming cleansers because they are going to be a little bit more stripping to the skin.
Is there anything that we should be avoiding with cleansers?
In terms of your cleansers, well, you really want to stick to, like I was saying, a gentle cleanser, because some of the cleansers that are going to be a little bit more harsh, they are going to strip the skin. They may really irritate or dry out the skin. So just avoid anything too drying.
Are there any ingredients in face washes that we should be careful for while being pregnant?
That comes into play when we're talking more about like those acne cleansers. So I do have, my patients avoid the harsh salicylic acid or the benzoyl peroxide based cleansers. In little bits, in little quantities, those are going to be okay, but we don't want to use too much salicylic acid or too much benzoyl peroxide during pregnancies. I do, caution against that because those are some of those ingredients that, could get absorbed.
And that's actually a really good point, because I know that obviously your salicylic acid should be avoided, and now I know benzoyl peroxide is also something that we want to use in smaller doses.
Smaller doses, yeah.
But I know that, especially friends that have acne-prone skin, that is something in their cleansers that they usually seek out, and so that's something important to remember, to avoid that as much as you can.
And minimize that, absolutely.
And same applies for your body, right? Because I know that like Neutrogena, for instance, has the salicylic based body cleanser. Stay away from that.
I do advise to minimize your use of salicylic acid for sure during pregnancy.
Altogether. Most of this stuff, people always ask like, why this particular ingredient? We know that obviously like retinol has a specific research correlated to birth defects or things like that.
Salicylic acid is actually a derivative of aspirin. So, orally we know that it's, not something you really should be using unless it's under the advice of a doctor in pregnancy. So salicylic acid is one of those ingredients that the higher the concentration, the more potential there is for there to be, some absorption. So we really want to minimize the amount that we're using.
My second step is toner, and toner has become really integral in my routine. I think back in the day I used to use toner and it would be like alcoholic, you know, it was like alcohol, and it would strip my skin. I'm like, gosh, it feels really dry, and I feel like, oh my gosh.
We thought we were doing the right thing by doing that. Absolutely.
And now I know that that's obviously not the case. The one I used to use was a BHA, which is salicylic acid, and I loved it from Paula's Choice. It just kept my skin so on point all the time. So what I have found from the drugstore is Pixie Skin Treats Glow Tonic, and this is a 5% glycolic acid.
So glycolic acid is amazing as an alternative and as an addition to certain ingredients in your pregnancy and your non-pregnancy routine. But I have to say, glycolic acid got me through my 3 pregnancies, and it's such a great product. It's an alpha hydroxy acid. It is safe to use during pregnancy, can be used as a cleanser, a toner, a serum. It's got a lot of good different, you know, forms that it comes in. And what it does is it brightens the skin, and it helps to kind of slough off some of that dead skin. So it is a mild exfoliant. So what we're gonna get is we're gonna get brighter skin. It's gonna help with some acne, because it's gonna help with oil production as well. And it's gonna help with any discoloration. So it's one of those products that, you know, has a lot of different usages, and it's fabulous during pregnancy. So I love that you're using this product now.
And that also brings up another point with the whole discoloration.
Yes.
Pigmentation is a huge issue that I know so many women suffer from during pregnancy, which is why more than ever, my vitamin C is something that I really, you know, make sure I never skip this step in the morning. So this one I found at the drugstore as well. This is DermaE Vitamin C Concentrated Serum. And what I liked about this one is that it also has hyaluronic acid, because again, during pregnancy, I'm always looking for that moisture because I'm so dry.
So vitamin C, I would say, would be a must to both non-pregnancy and pregnancy skincare routines. But it's one of those products that can really, you know, help replace the stronger products that we can't use during pregnancy. So vitamin C has a lot of wonderful benefits. It's an antioxidant. So it's gonna help protect the skin from free radical damage. Free radicals are caused by sun exposure, and they lead to premature aging, sunspots, fine lines, wrinkles, all the things we want to avoid. And vitamin C also helps brighten pigment. So I really do love vitamin C as part of your pregnancy routine. I think this is a great one to be using. I usually recommend using your vitamin C in the morning. But during pregnancy, because we're not using things like retinol, you may even use it 2 times a day, depending on your tolerance. But vitamin C is great to use for women who either are trying to prevent pigmentary issues like melasma or just regular sunspots. And fine lines and wrinkles, because it can help boost some collagen production. So it's fabulous.
I always think about it as like the AM counterpart to retinol. You know, it's like that kind of wonder ingredient. But I do have a question about that. With vitamin C, is it something, because I've kind of read, you know, contrasting research around it, with some people saying like if you are going to be out in the sun a lot, you should use it at night because it helps prepare the skin for sun exposure. Is that true? So
vitamin C is one of those ingredients that can be used in the morning, or it can be used at night. And I really look at an individual's routine and figure out where we're going to put it in. So the idea is obviously that we don't want to make things too complicated. Especially during pregnancy, like you said, you've got a lot of other things that are going on, and you really want to make sure that you're doing your AM and your PM routine, however simple it may be. So vitamin C is one of those ingredients that you can use it in the morning, you can use it in the evening. We really work to kind of figure out where it's going to work best in your routine.
Okay, good to know. And at the drugstore, a lot of times the vitamin C's that are sold there are lower concentrations. So because it is reactive, and if you're not used to using it, I find that starting with drugstore products are actually a great gateway intro to vitamin C, because it's not as harsh. Now, my next step is moisturizing, which I sometimes, if I have a good sunscreen that has like, if it feels really moisturizing, I might skip this step. But I, right now, again, I'm like a broken record here. Very, very dry. I'm using the Neutrogena Bright Boost Gel Cream.
So Neutrogena has a lot of great products. The Hydroboost line is obviously fabulous, and the Bright Boost line is really nice too. This cream is actually great for pregnancy because it's got something called mandelic acid in it. Mandelic acid is another one of those alpha hydroxy acids, and it really helps brighten the skin, hence the name. So it is a good cream to use to moisturize the skin, but it's also going to help protect against some pigment. So I like this one for you.
I mean, as you can see, I'm a Neutrogena lover. Like, I think the Hydroboost line and then this new Bright Boost line, it's done my skin really well. Okay, and last but not least, it's all about protection, as Nina will tell you. So my last step is a mineral sunscreen. And for me, the biggest switch was going from chemical to minerals. And maybe you can elaborate on that a little bit. Is this good?
I love this sunscreen actually. So I have to say the Anthelios Mineral is wonderful. And this is the tinted one, and I have to say I have a hard time finding tints that kind of go on the darker skin, but this one works really, really well.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, because a lot of times the whole thing with mineral sunscreen versus chemical for especially with women with melanin gets nicely absorbed in your skin, and so you don't have that gray overcast.
Yes.
And so this one, especially because it is tinted, is really nice because you don't feel like you're sitting there, you know, rubbing it into your skin.
So that's absolutely one of the reasons why I love this sunscreen. The mineral aspect is really important during pregnancy because it's chemical free. During pregnancy, obviously you want to minimize the amount of chemicals that your skin's exposed to, and your skin is going to become more sensitive. So not only do you want to minimize the amount of chemicals, you want to minimize the amount of irritation. So when you switch over to a mineral sunscreen, you're gonna be that much less prone to getting irritated by your product. So the mineral sunscreens, again, are titanium or zinc based. And what they do is they sit on the surface of the skin and they, you know, have those harmful UVA, UVB rays kind of bounce away from your skin. So that's how the physical or mineral based sunscreens work. I actually use this sunscreen a lot in my post-procedure patients. Because in my post-procedure patients, I actually have them avoid the chemicals as well. And this is one of the ones that I absolutely have them use. So,
well, and I think
proud of you for picking that out.
Thank you. I've learned a lot. I mean, I think the other thing is that I know this is like a drugstore edition of skincare, because I really wanted to, you know, I love my stuff on a budget, and I think a lot of times people get pregnant and they think they have to throw everything out. It's like, okay, I have to start fresh, and I just, you know, throw everything out that I already have on my vanity, and it's like, it's not necessarily true. And there are some great alternatives and options at the drugstore that are so easy to find and readily available. But I will say there are things that are expensive. Like this was, I think, over $30. But again, for me and where I am in my life and the protection I need, that is well worth it.
Especially if you are one who during pregnancy deals with pigmentary issues or darkening of the skin or extra sunspots or anything like that. The sunscreen that you put on your face is going to be so, so, so important. So you always want to remember to apply your sunscreen and then reapply, even on cloudy days, even on rainy days, even in the winter time. So just be really, really mindful about using your sunscreen.
And we also did a extensive sunscreen video a while ago. It had more to do with like kids and adults too, but it kind of breaks down everything, like what the difference between physical and mineral sunscreens are. So if you're interested in that, we will link that below for you guys to check out. Okay, now we're gonna go on to PM routine.
The PM is where we tend to use a little bit more of that stronger product. And the product that I'm really referring to is your vitamin A or your retin A. At our age, and after you've had a couple of kids, you need all the help you can get with fine lines, wrinkles, your tone, your texture. So vitamin A or retin A is really one of those products that's gonna do all of that. But when you're pregnant, we really say, you know, you just can't use the vitamin A's right now. So we do need to work on finding alternatives.
And that is totally a magic product, I think, or ingredient. Retinol is something that I've incorporated in my 30s, and it's just life-changing. So, okay, what I start with for cleanser at night, like in the morning, I'll use a mild, gentle cleanser, and it's just by itself because most of the time I don't have any makeup on. So I double cleanse, and I have been obsessed with double cleansing for the past couple of years.
Perfect.
So I actually came across this and I really like it. It is by Physicians Formula and is called the Perfect Matcha 3-in-1 Melting Cleansing Balm. So anything that is oil-based or like a balm, I love, because for me, especially if I'm filming and I'm doing stuff, I have so much eye makeup on, and it's the only thing that I've noticed that really takes off all the grit. So this is my first step, along with a gentle gel cleanser, and you could use that same one I used in the morning. I just kind of switch it up, and I don't know if that's okay, but I have this one from Honest Beauty. It's a gentle gel cleanser, and it just kind of does the job for me.
That's absolutely okay. You know, the double cleanse is super important, especially at the end of the day, because there is, you know, that dirt and oil and makeup that's left behind on our skin. And if we do sleep with any of that on our skin, we are going to wake up with, you know, clogged pores, breakouts, things like that. So you really want to make sure that the end of the day is when you do a lot of your work with that double cleanse. And this is actually a fabulous way to start, because what this is going to do is it's really going to break down that makeup. It's really going to break down that, you know, whatever's left on your face is really going to get it off. And the matcha green tea is a great antioxidant.
I didn't know if that was just a buzzword, so I picked it up, but I was like,
green tea is a very powerful antioxidant. So you'll find a lot of skincare products now have or are incorporating green tea into them, because that can be very protective to the skin.
Question for you. If someone's watching this and they say, oh, okay, so it's a 3-in-1 melting cleansing balm. Can they use this by itself?
So the only caution I would say when you're using something like this by itself is you don't want any of that oily residue to be left behind on your face. Again, if you've got very dry skin, if you never break out, all that stuff that never happens to me, you may be okay with it.
You're a unicorn.
But, you know, if you're one who may clog, may break out a little bit, hormonal acne, whatever it may be, you really want to make sure that there's no oily residue left behind on your face. That's why I think this is actually a wonderful second step for you to use this Gentle Honest Cleanser, because they have really great products.
The next step is my treatment, is I guess what we would call it, but it's my serum and my treatment. And like we were talking about, retinol is something I definitely have in my routine, but since I've been pregnant, I have to replace it. So I found the Burt's Bees Intensive Firming Serum, and this has that big buzzword retinol alternative, which I never say properly, bakuchiol. So bakuchiol.
Say that fast 5 times.
Bakuchiol, yeah, exactly. This is what I've been using, and this, I think, in pairing with my glycolic acid in the morning, I feel like has totally kept my skin up to par.
Yeah, good work. So bakuchiol is one of those ingredients that, you know, it's new, it's, you know, buzzy, it's a retinol alternative, and, you know, the research has been really good on it. The only thing I do advise against is that it is, you know, one of those plant-based products. So those that have more sensitive skin, those that may tend to be allergic to certain components, you always want to do a little test spot with it before you start using it. So I recommend testing it for a couple of days just on the inside of your arm, because that tends to be a very, you know, sensitive area. And then if you're gonna break out from something, you're not breaking out on your face.
Two things I wanna say, because a lot of people are deterred from buying skincare or makeup at the drugstore because they're like, well, if once I open it, I have to keep it. So not true. If you open it and you are testing it out and you find that you are reactive to it, you can absolutely take it back. Save your receipt. They will more than likely take that back. CVS, Rite Aid, Target, all of the places.
Absolutely.
The other thing is that, again, when you get pregnant, all of a sudden it's like clean and green and not, you know, all natural. And I think there's a misconception that that is what you should be doing, because that doesn't necessarily mean, like, all natural does not necessarily mean it's gonna be good for your skin.
Absolutely. You do have to be careful with what you're putting on your skin, not from a sense that you're worried about, is this gonna negatively affect, you know, my baby because of the chemicals that are in it, or I'm absorbing all this stuff. There's also a lot of things that can be irritating to the skin. So when you are using something that's all natural, just make sure that you're not having any irritant or allergic response to any of the ingredients in there, because it is quite possible.
And then the last step for my PM routine is obviously moisturizing. I have been in love with this. This is the CeraVe PM Facial Moisturizing Lotion. This brand in general has been amazing. I think you introduced it to me. It's one of my favorites, and especially since I've been pregnant, I really liked it, mainly because it has the niacinamide in it.
So CeraVe PM is wonderful as a moisturizer, and the niacinamide is this extra added benefit. Niacinamide is a vitamin that calms down inflammation. So whether you're acne prone, whether you've got sensitive skin, whether your skin just tends to be more red or irritated more easily during pregnancy, the niacinamide is safe to use, and it's gonna help, you know, calm all that down. So it's a wonderful addition.
All right, so what do I get on my skincare routine?
I think you get an A+.
I hope you enjoyed this little rundown of pregnancy skincare routine drugstore edition. The one thing we did want to do, because on Instagram, this is where we got this idea to do this video, so many people, which I love, had such an interest in, you know, what they should be using and how they should be using it during pregnancy. Nina scrolled through and picked some of her top questions that she wanted to answer, so we're gonna get to that right now. Okay, question number 1 is about body care. So how do you treat and preventatively treat stretch marks? And what products should we be using? All that good stuff.
Wonderful. So this is a hot topic when it comes to women thinking about getting pregnant, women who are pregnant, and then after pregnancy, when we're kind of in the treatment stages. So first and foremost, there's nothing you can do to 100% prevent stretch marks. There's a genetic component to whether you're gonna get stretch marks or not. So I always tell, you know, all the women that I see that are thinking about pregnancy or who may be pregnant, look at your mom, look at other family members, did they have stretch marks? And that may be an indication of, you know, what yours may be. That being said, if your skin is more supple, if your skin is more hydrated, and you're stretching, that's gonna obviously minimize the amount of stretch marks and any scarring you may get. So I always, you know, have you do a good hydrating routine to the areas that tend to be more prone to stretch marks, and that's gonna be obviously the abdomen, but the breasts as well, you know, the underarms, the thighs, those are all areas that are gonna be prone to stretch marks. So as your body's expanding, as your skin is kind of stretching, keep it really supple. So one of my favorite products is actually bio oil. Bio oil is fabulous for stretch marks. It's fabulous for scars or old scars. It just helps to hydrate the skin and helps to keep the skin very pliable or very supple. So that's a great one. Another product line that I love is the Mamma Mia product line. Mamma Mia is usually something you can find in like the baby stores. Well, they're all pregnancy safe. They contain, you know, some of them contain omega-3 fatty acids. So that's great again for hydrating the skin. So keep the skin very supple.
That's my biggest thing that I've learned in my last 2 pregnancies. Starting at day 1, like when I found out I was pregnant, I started using my body oils and creams because to be real, like on a daily basis, otherwise I'm not like the best at like nourishing my skin. But now I take that extra minute, especially my midsection. I am so clear about that because what I learned is like you're stretching, like you said.
Absolutely.
You're getting bigger. And then what happens is that you don't even realize until after, but not even right after birth. It's like, it could be months because once your stomach is like kind of constricting back to where it was, that's when you start seeing things and you're like, oh, that's there or that's there. And then that's when women, I think, get really discouraged because you're already dealing with all this postpartum like stress of body weight and everything. And you're like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Why am I seeing this? So I found that that helps. The one thing I just want to point out, and Nina can tell me if it's good or not, it's called Keep It Supple from First. It's from the drugstore. It's body oil. It has, is it
Ylang Ylang?
Okay, Yang 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 and calendula flower extract. The only reason I found it, like I find oils to be really nice for me. So it's a spray. I spray it all over me and then I just rub it in. And I do this like 2 times a day. It makes me feel really like that I'm just kind of keeping that hydration. So yeah, is this okay?
That's okay.
Okay. I found randomly at Target, Palmer's has a stretch mark.
For the bust.
Yeah, for
that one?
No, but it's a mask.
Oh.
It's a tummy stretch mark mask. Yeah. So, I mean, again, I assume I can just take anything and just put it on there, but it kind of made me think, I was like, that's a great idea because it's just making it absorb more.
Yeah, it's all about hydration. It's all about hydration.
But what's the breast one you're talking about?
I saw one that said bust on it.
Oh, smart.
Palmer's Cocoa Butter Bust. You know, because obviously during pregnancy and during nursing, the breasts are stretching also, and those are areas that women can develop stretch marks. So
but you can technically just use the same stuff you're using on your tummy.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, good. Next question has to do with acne. So what, because there's so much that you can't use, like salicylic acid, and we should be careful with benzoyl peroxide. How do we treat and prevent acne because there's so many hormones going on while we're pregnant?
So if you are pregnant and you are breaking out a lot, there are some things you can do. First, I do urge you to see your dermatologist because you want to make sure that what you're using is the right routine for you. So my recommendations would be obviously first to see your dermatologist if you know you're breaking out a lot. Things like glycolic acid, whether it's going to be your wash, whether it's going to be your toner, or whether it's going to be your serum, are great for, you know, that mild acne, especially during pregnancy. And the other product that's great for acne during pregnancy is azelaic acid. Azelaic acid is another one of those alpha hydroxy acids that, you know, prescription strength, we do have one, but over the counter you can find about 10% azelaic acid, and it really helps to clear out your pores and brighten the skin. So those are 2 great alternatives. If you do need to use something like a benzoyl peroxide, you know, I always say use it as a spot treatment when you do get, you know, maybe a larger inflammatory breakout. But if you are breaking it out a lot, you really do want to see your dermatologist.
And azelaic acid, is that something that just comes marketed as that, or is there like a particular brand?
So there are a couple of brands that make azelaic acid. The one that I love is The Ordinary. It has 10% azelaic acid, and that's really great. It's gentle, it's mild, and it's great to use if you're breaking out. The other thing that you want to potentially use is something with niacinamide in it. Niacinamide is a vitamin that helps calm down inflammation. So it's great for acne, of course, which is inflammatory, and it's great for redness.
All right, next question is skincare that's changing from pre and post pregnancy. Like if you're trying, should you be stopping retinol then? Obviously we're stopping it while we're pregnant.
Yes.
Does that mean once we've had the baby and we're nursing, do we still continue the same skincare that we've been doing while pregnant? Let's talk about that.
Yes. So I always advise that when you know you're going to actively start trying to get pregnant, that you do go on your pregnancy skincare routine at that time. The issue basically is like you don't know exactly when you become pregnant. So you really don't want any of those harsh ingredients on board when you do get pregnant. So I always advise when you know you're in that stage, you're like, we're going to start trying to get pregnant, that's when you start your pregnancy routine. Okay. And then you do want to continue that up until, you know, you're done nursing.
So it could technically be like a good 2 years that you're doing and embracing this new skincare routine.
Yes, and that's why it's really important to be consistent with your routine and to find those active ingredients that you can use and stick to them, because you may be on them for quite some time.
Yeah.
Or like us, on and off of them for like a decade.
Yeah, exactly. Seriously. Okay, and then the last question, I loved this one. Are there any treatments that we should be avoiding? Are there any treatments that we can be doing while we're pregnant?
Yes.
Or even post-pregnancy? I know that there's a lot of lasers now that are offered for stretch marks and things like that. So what can we and can't do?
Absolutely. So during pregnancy, you know, we really keep it very simple. No fillers, no Botox, no lasers. I do some light treatments that do not require any topical numbing when you are pregnant. So things like a hydrofacial may be great to use. So facials can be great during pregnancy. Some very light microneedling may be great as well during pregnancy, and some glycolic chemical peels. Those can all be used during pregnancy. But post-pregnancy is when we may be able to work in some of the more, you know, intense or slightly more aggressive treatments. So I really do say consult your doctor so you can make a game plan and kind of decide when you're ready for certain treatments.
Speaking of in-office treatments, there is one thing that I do at home, which is like the at-home microneedling.
Yeah.
Can I do that on my stomach area?
Yes.
Okay.
So the at-home treatments are very gentle, very mild. You don't use any numbing. So, you know, obviously just be careful that you're not irritating your skin.
Right.
But absolutely, that's totally fine.
Because that was something I was like, that's new since I've had my last baby.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe I can start using the body one for this. So that's good to know. All right, guys, so that's it. That was just a little bonus lightning round with Dr. Nina Desai. We hope you enjoyed that. Keep the questions coming on Instagram, because we are hoping, especially throughout this entire pregnancy and post, to do more and more videos related to this topic. And if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. You can find Nina's Instagram handle there as well. We hope you guys enjoyed this little edition of Pregnancy Skincare Drugstore Edition. We will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.